Hello everyone. So in today's video, we will discuss about how you can create a 7-pointer slide and also a company profiling page for any company that you are working on. Today, we'll take the example of Fortis Healthcare. Fortis Healthcare, we know, is a Indian for-profit private hospital network, which is headquartered in Gurgaon, India. It started its health operations in Mohali, Punjab in the year 2001. So if I walk you through the company's website, it is completely a healthcare service provider. There are chains of hospitals in North India, East India, South India, West India. The specialities are they offer almost every sort of medical treatment on every area. Center of Excellence. There is a robotic surgery institute under Fortis Institute. The medical center would provide you all the details regarding the investor certification, all the details regarding press releases, media coverage, newsletters, media connect, etc. So on the website, you can book an appointment with the country's leading experts directly. There are hospital chains which you can have a look at, the specialities in healthcare and the areas that they cater to. So this was a little about the company, which you can read more here. But how do you prepare a company profiling page? Let me show you the same. So today, we'll be talking about the 7-pointer analysis and one-page profile, a comprehensive investment opinion about Fortis. Before that, let us try and understand what Fortis is. Fortis Healthcare was incorporated in February 1996. Company's first healthcare facility became operational in Mohali, Punjab in 2001. Currently, it operates its services in India, headquartered in Gurgaon, Nepal, Dubai, and Sri Lanka with 36 healthcare facilities with approximately 4,000 plus operational beds. The company controls its diagnostic business through its 57% owned subsidiary SRL Limited. It has a presence in over 600 cities and towns with an estimated strength of 415 labs, 5,200 direct clients, and 1,400 collection centers. So this was a little about the company, and this is how you can mention it in a box at the top of the one-page profile, followed by the key financial metrics. So these are the key financial metrics. Any company's sales, the growth margins, the EBITDA margins, EBIT margins, net profit margins. What are margins? Margins are the respective component as a percentage of the revenue. Dividend per share, dividend growth percentage, price to earnings, EV upon EBITDA, EV upon sales. These becomes the relative valuation multiples or the key financial ratios. So above we saw the metrics. Now we have the ratios, which are in the form of 10x, 20x. So x times of, for example, EV upon EBITDA. So 17.78x means that EV is 17.78 times of the EBITDA of the company. So if EBITDA is 1, enterprise value is almost 18 times of the EBITDA levels. Return on equity, return on capital employed. Well, generally, I'm sure you might have heard that return on equity, return on capital employed, jitna zyada hoga, utna better hai, which means higher the better. So yes, that is correct that return on equity and return on capital employed should at least be 15 to 20% for any company operating, especially in this space. Now, the shareholders are the part owners of the business. So they are the stakeholders who have held a position in the business, who have held some shares, some percentage holdings, and those holdings have a market value. So these are the names of some combined mutual funds, some individuals such as Rekha Jhunjhunwala is, I'm sure all of you know, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, his wife. So these people hold a significant holding in Fortis. And to the right, if you see, it is also backed by some graphs, some visually looking presentation, so that we are able to back up our data with some graphs and figures, etc. So this is how you can prepare the same, where you have mentioned the capital structure, the number of shares available, the total debt available, if there is any minority interest, and the cash and cash equivalents with the firm. Again, the managerial remuneration. So sometimes it is important to also showcase some additional revenue drivers, the cost drivers, the risk factors associated with the business. Now, this is a one-page profile on the financials. However, you can also create a one-page profile, including the qualitative factors of the company. That is, what are the drivers, who are the competitors, what are the geographies that Fortis Healthcare is currently catering to in it as far as its business operations are concerned. So this was more about a one-page profile, and I wanted to show you one of the examples. Feel free to make your own one-page profiles for your companies and do tag me on LinkedIn on the same. Now, if I talk about the 7-point screening, the parameter one should be the revenue growth is decreasing, but still more than 10%, which means the revenue growth or the revenue for the last 3 years is important. So the last 3 to 5 years revenue should be considered, and then we should be able to calculate the growth in the revenues year on year. So if I look at the growth in revenue, the revenue growth has declined, but the decline is not more than 10%. So this is not negative, but not highly positive. Why? Because the growth trend is negative, right? So that is why we've mentioned positive from 99 to 113 to 78. And then in 2024, there is a growth of 58%. If I look at the profit growth, so revenue is the top item of the income statement. However, the net profit is the bottom line of the income statement. Profit growth is also declining below 15%. So this is negative. Why? Because if the revenue grows by more than 10%, that is positive, but the profit should not decline beyond a certain stage. So if we look at the year 2021, we are sure there is something very unusual about this year. Probably it was the impact of COVID or some other reason for which we'll have to dig into the annual reports of the company. But yes, if you see, then from 2022 to 21, there is a high negative profit growth followed by again a decline, and eventually it is only 5% of the revenue of 2024, or the growth as compared to the last year, right? So from 29%, the growth in profits have just been 5% as compared to the financial year 2023. We may also additionally check the profit as a percentage of revenue or the profit margin, and that profit margin should also be in an increasing trend. Now, if we look at the parameter 3, the ROE is increasing every year. What is ROE? ROE is simply the return to the equity shareholders, or what we say as the profit after tax divided by the number of outstanding shares. So if the returns which the equity owners are expecting has are very less or are less than at least the cost of debt. So what is the cost of debt? For example, the company has taken a loan of 10% rate of interest and the equity owners are getting just 8% return. So they would say that why would we enter the company as the owners of the company? Rather, I can give loan and then earn a higher rate of interest, right? So the company must generate enough returns for the shareholders that it is at least more than the cost of debt or the interest percentage on the debt. That is why it is mentioned as negative. Why? Because if we see the returns to the equity shareholders have consistently remained at 8 to 9%, which is lower than the 15% benchmark which we set for ROE. Generally, or we compare this with the cost of debt. The ROE should always be more than the cost of debt, which is the expense on the debentures or the expense on the long-term borrowings for a company. If you look at the fourth parameter, similar to ROE, it is ROCE. ROE does not consider the impact of debt. However, ROCE includes the total capital employed, which includes the equities share and the debts share. So including the debt also, there is only a return of 12% and not 15 to 20%, which is negative. Then we also look at the shareholders pattern. We look at how much the company's shareholders have in the business. How much shares are they themselves holding? The higher the shareholding pattern, the better it is, and there should be no pledging of shares. So when we see in 2024, the pledged percentage of the shares is 0. When the pledging happens, it is generally considered as negative, and it shows the weakening confidence of the investors or the weakening confidence of the owners of the business. So अगर owners ही confident नहीं है and are pledging their shares to buy the other asset classes, then certainly it gives us an impression that they are not confident about the working of the business. Why is debt to equity ratio important? Now, debt to equity ratio should be below 1.5. Why? Because if the equity or the company has 100% owned financed, it is financed through its 100% owned funds, then debt should not be more than equity. However, some amount of debt is beneficial for the business and it would lead to trade on equity. So the debt to equity ratio of below 1.5 is great. Anything less than 1 is also best. But again, lower the debt, the better it is. But the no debt situation is sometimes also not ideal. But if we look at the debt to equity ratio, which is simply but nothing but the long-term debt divided by the shareholders' equity, we have 15.07% in 2024, which is significantly high, or is almost 15% as compared to 10% equity, which is not correct. So this is roughly okay, positive, but we wish it could have been less than 15%. Returns are not positive in the last 3 years is a concern. The returns in the last 3 years is only 116%. So mostly if we see to out of these pointers, you can obviously prepare a better presentation based on your company and a further analysis of the same. But we've tried to analyze using the revenue growth rates, the profit, the ROE, the ratios, ROCE, the pledge percentage, then the debt to equity ratio. Our analysis is that although the promoters' holdings has declined significantly from 54% to 31%, again, which is negative, as I said, the shareholding pattern should not fall. The promoters were holding 54% of the company, now they are only holding 31%. So do you think this is very positive? No, right? So out of the 7, 8 pointers we had looked at, 3 of them are negative, and hence we can say that it is not the right time to invest in the stock. Again, this was only for educational purposes. Do not rely on the subjective matter. A greater amount of analysis has to be done to make recommendations. All the best. I hope this video was fruitful and you would be able to prepare a similar analysis for your company. All the best. I'll see you in the next video.